Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and the Restless official 24 channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. It was supposed to be just another stormy night in Genoa City, but destiny had other plans. Inside the dimly lit warehouse near the docks, a confrontation years in the making reached its breaking point. Holden Novak, known by many as the mysterious man who had walked into the Newmans' lives like a ghost, stood face to face with the woman who once swore she loved him, Audra Charles. Their past, their lies, and their sins had finally collided. The air crackled with tension, heavy with the scent of rain and betrayal. "Please don't do this," Holden whispered, voice trembling yet calm, his eyes locked on Audra's trembling hand that held the gun. "You don't have to end it like this." But Audra's eyes were cold, glistening with fear and fury. "You left me no choice," she spat, her voice shaking as tears streamed down her face. "You were going to tell her everything about Los Angeles." Holden took a cautious step forward, his palms raised. "Claire deserves to know the truth," he said quietly. "She's already been through enough lies. You think hiding it will save her? It'll destroy her." But Audra couldn't hear reason anymore. Her mind flashed back to Los Angeles, the night that ruined everything, the one mistake that haunted her every day. Holden had been the only one who knew what really happened there, and the only one who could expose her. "You think you're some hero, Holden?" Audra's voice broke. "You think she'll forgive you for keeping the secret all this time?" Holden's jaw clenched, the rain running down his face like tears. "She might hate me for a while," he said, "but she'll hate you forever when she learns what you did." That was it. The breaking point. Audra's finger twitched on the trigger as her lips quivered. "You're not innocent either," she screamed. "You covered it up too. You protected me because you loved me. Don't pretend you didn't." Holden's voice softened, his heart breaking in real time. "I did love you," he confessed, the truth catching in his throat. "More than I should have. But that's why I can't let you do this anymore. The truth has to come out, Audra. For Claire's sake." The words echoed in the cavernous space, swallowed by the thunder outside. Audra's breath hitched, her heart pounding so hard it drowned out the storm. "No," she whispered, shaking her head violently. "If the truth comes out, I lose everything. My career, my reputation. Claire will never forgive me. She'll see me as the monster I really am." Holden took one last step forward. "Then let her see," he said, his tone almost tender. "You've spent your whole life running from who you are. Stop running." His words hit her like bullets before she even pulled the trigger. The sound that followed was deafening, a sharp crack that split the night in two. Holden's body jerked backward as blood bloomed on his chest. For a moment, he stood frozen, eyes wide, looking straight at Audra with an expression that would haunt her forever. "Please, don't do this," he gasped again, voice fading as his knees buckled. The gun slipped from Audra's trembling hands, clattering against the wet floor. "Holden," she whispered, stepping toward him, disbelief in every syllable. "Holden, no, no, no." She dropped beside him, her shaking hands trying to stop the bleeding. "You weren't supposed to die," she sobbed. "I didn't mean it." But it was too late. The light in his eyes dimmed slowly, like the final flicker of a dying candle. "I loved you," Holden whispered weakly, his hand reaching up to touch her cheek one last time. Even after everything, his fingers slipped away, lifeless, as the sound of distant thunder rolled through the night. Audra's scream pierced the silence, raw and guttural, a sound of pure devastation that would echo in her mind forever. Moments later, the warehouse doors burst open. Claire Newman stood there, drenched from the rain, her face pale as death. "Holden," she screamed, rushing toward them. Her voice cracked, desperate and broken. When she saw the gun on the ground and Audra's blood-stained hands, her entire world shattered. "What did you do?" she cried, collapsing beside Holden's body. Audra couldn't answer. She just shook her head, tears streaming, her words choking in her throat. "It was an accident," he was going to tell you. I didn't mean to. Claire's sobs filled the air as she clutched Holden's body. You killed him, she screamed. You killed the only man who ever protected me. The sound of sirens in the distance grew louder as Claire rocked back and forth, holding Holden's lifeless body in her arms. Audra stumbled backward, horror etched across her face. She could barely breathe. Everything she'd tried to protect was gone, her relationship with Claire, her carefully built life, and the only person who ever truly knew her heart. The secret from Los Angeles had claimed another life. And now, there was no turning back. The secret of Los Angeles. The truth Audra tried so desperately to hide was darker than anyone could imagine. Years ago, when she and Holden lived in Los Angeles, a powerful media executive named Vincent Hale had been found dead under mysterious circumstances. Officially, it was ruled an accident, a drunken fall at his mansion during a private party. But Holden had always known there was more to the story. Audra had been there that night. Vincent had threatened to expose her for manipulating corporate records and sleeping her way up the ladder. Things spiraled out of control. A heated argument turned violent. Holden had arrived just in time to find Vincent on the ground and Audra standing over him, trembling, her hands stained with blood. He covered it up, destroying evidence, bribing witnesses, and telling her it would never be mentioned again. For years, they'd lived with that secret between them, buried under a mountain of lies. But when Holden returned to Genoa City and saw how close Audra had gotten to Claire and the Newmans, he realized the truth would resurface one way or another. He wanted to tell Claire before Audra's enemies used it against her. But Audra, terrified of losing everything, decided silence was safer. She convinced herself that killing Holden was the only way to bury the past forever. Claire's breakdown. At the police station later that night, Claire sat in stunned silence. Her hands were still stained with Holden's blood. Nick and Victoria tried to comfort her, but she felt nothing, just an endless, echoing emptiness. He was trying to protect me, she whispered, over and over, her voice barely audible. He died because of her. When Audra was brought in wearing handcuffs, Claire's entire body tensed. Their eyes met across the room. Audra looked hollow, like the life had been drained from her. Claire, she whispered. But Claire snapped, lunging forward as officers held her back. You're not innocent, she screamed. You took everything from me. First Los Angeles, now Holden. You'll rot in prison for what you did. Audra broke down sobbing, her guilt consuming her. I never wanted this, she pleaded. I loved him. I loved you too, Claire. Please, believe me. But Claire turned away, tears streaming down her face. You don't know what love is, she said coldly. Love doesn't kill. Love doesn't lie. The room fell silent. For the first time, Audra realized that even if she escaped prison, she'd already lost the one thing she couldn't live without, Claire's forgiveness. The cover-up begins. But the story didn't end there. Just when everyone thought the truth was finally out, Victor Newman made a chilling phone call. This can't go public, he said grimly. Not for Claire's sake. Not for Newman Media. Within hours, reports of Holden's death were altered, changed to an accidental shooting during a break-in. The gun disappeared from evidence. And when the autopsy came back, certain details were mysteriously redacted. Nick confronted Victor. You're covering for her, he accused. Audra killed Holden. She deserves to pay. But Victor only gave his son a long, hard look. What's done is done, he said. Holden's dead. Claire's broken. Exposing Audra won't bring him back. Sometimes justice doesn't come from the law, Nicholas. Sometimes it comes from silence. Audra's haunting. In the weeks that followed, Audra spiraled into madness. Every night, she heard Holden's voice in her dreams, whispering, please don't do this. She saw his face in reflections, in shadows, in every corner of her mind. She tried to go back to work, but she couldn't focus. Every meeting, every smile, every camera flash reminded her of the man she'd killed. One night, she woke up to find a single rose on her doorstep, the same kind Holden used to bring her in Los Angeles. A note lay beneath it, written in his handwriting, "You can't bury the truth forever." Terrified, she turned to Claire, begging for a chance to explain, but Claire refused to even look at her. "I'll never forgive you," Claire said. "Holden was the only one who ever believed in me. You took that from me. You took him from everyone." Audra's world collapsed entirely when she discovered Victor had erased all public mention of Holden, no obituary, no grave, no record. It was as if he had never existed. That was the final cruelty. The man she killed had been wiped from existence, but she still carried his memory like a scar. Standing at the edge of the lake one foggy morning, Claire made a silent promise. "I'll make sure the truth comes out," she whispered to Holden's memory. "No matter what Victor or Audra does, everyone will know what really happened in Los Angeles." Her reflection stared back, fierce and unflinching. This wasn't the naive girl who once trusted too easily. This was a woman forged in pain, betrayal, and blood. Back in her penthouse, Audra poured herself another drink, staring out the window as the city lights flickered below. She whispered to the darkness, "I did what I had to do." But deep down, she knew it was a lie. She hadn't done it to protect anyone. She'd done it to protect herself. And in doing so, she'd destroyed everything she ever cared about. Holden's death wasn't just a tragedy, it was the unraveling of everything Genoa City thought it knew about love, loyalty, and redemption. Audra Charles had pulled the trigger to bury one secret, but she'd unleashed something far worse, a storm of vengeance that no one could stop. And as Claire wiped the last tear from her cheek, she whispered into the night, "You're not innocent, Audra. Not anymore." The following morning, Genoa City woke under a heavy, gray sky, as if the heavens themselves were mourning Holden's death. Rain continued to pour, soaking the streets and washing away the bloodstains from the dockside warehouse where Audra had ended his life. But no amount of rain could cleanse the guilt that now clung to her soul. Audra sat alone in her luxury apartment, staring blankly at the window. The city lights blurred behind her tears, and every drop that hit the glass sounded like another heartbeat she had stolen. She kept replaying the moment in her mind, the flash, the sound, Holden's eyes widening in disbelief. His last words echoed inside her skull, "Please don't do this." When the knock came at the door, Audra didn't move. She knew who it was before she opened it. Claire Newman stood there, soaked to the bone, her expression carved from stone. Her eyes were red from crying, but her voice was calm, too calm. "We need to talk," she said, pushing her way inside without waiting for permission. Audra's heart lurched. "Claire, please," she began, but Claire cut her off. Don't call me that. You don't get to say my name anymore." The air between them felt toxic. Audra's trembling hands clutched a glass of wine she couldn't bring herself to drink. "I know you hate me," she whispered. "I hate myself, too." Claire laughed bitterly. "No, you don't. People who hate themselves don't keep lying." Audra looked up sharply. "Lying? About what?" Claire stepped closer, her expression fierce. "About Los Angeles. About what you and Holden were hiding. I know it wasn't just some business scandal, Audra. There's more. And I'm going to find out exactly what you killed him to hide." For a moment, Audra's mask cracked. Her face twisted with pain and fear. "You don't understand what happened that night," she said quietly. "If you did, you'd see why I had to do what I did." Claire's voice hardened. "Then tell me. Tell me the truth." Audra looked away. "It'll destroy you." Claire's eyes flashed. "You already did that. The secret deepens." That night, Claire went to the one person she thought might still have answers, Michael Baldwin. As her mother's old legal ally, Michael had seen more of Genoa City's secrets than anyone. "I need you to help me dig into something," Claire told him. "Something about Holden and Audra in Los Angeles. There was a man named Vincent Hale. Does that name mean anything to you?" Michael frowned. "Vincent Hale? The media mogul? He died years ago under mysterious circumstances." Claire nodded grimly. I think Audra had something to do with it. And I think Holden helped her cover it up. Michael leaned back, eyes narrowing. Claire, if that's true, you're not just talking about scandal. You're talking about murder. Claire's gaze hardened. Then let's call it what it is. While Michael began pulling strings behind the scenes, Audra's world continued to crumble. The police questioned her repeatedly, but thanks to Victor Newman's interference, the official report remained inconclusive. Holden's death was classified as an accident. But Genoa City wasn't fooled. Whispers filled the Grand Phoenix lobby, the Newman offices, the coffee house. Everyone had a theory. Some believed Holden had attacked her. Others thought it was a crime of passion. Yet the most chilling rumor of all was the one whispered in hushed tones: Audra killed him to hide a secret. Audra's nightmare. Sleep became a luxury Audra could no longer afford. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw Holden's face. His voice haunted her dreams, whispering from the shadows. You can't bury the truth forever, Audra. She'd wake up drenched in sweat, gasping for air, reaching for a man who wasn't there. In the mirror, her reflection seemed like a stranger, pale, hollow-eyed, consumed by fear. One night, as thunder cracked outside, she saw something that made her blood run cold, the outline of a man in the corner of her room. Holden, she breathed. The figure didn't move. You're dead, she whispered, clutching her chest. You're dead. But when she blinked, he was gone. The next morning, Claire received an anonymous package at her doorstep. Inside was a flash drive labeled Hale Mansion footage, private. Her hands trembled as she plugged it into her laptop. The video was grainy but clear enough. It showed a younger Audra and Holden arguing in Vincent Hale's study. Vincent, drunk and furious, shouted something about blackmail. Then chaos, Audra screamed, Holden lunged forward, and Vincent fell backward over the balcony. The camera caught Audra's horrified face, then the screen went black. Claire covered her mouth, tears spilling down her cheeks. Oh my God, she whispered. He really did it for her. He covered it all up. Now she understood. Holden had killed to protect Audra once, and Audra had killed him to protect herself from the truth of that night. Confrontation at the memorial. A week later, Victor arranged a quiet memorial for Holden at the Newman Ranch, claiming it was the least they could do. Only a few people were invited: Nick, Victoria, Claire, and, reluctantly, Audra. The tension in the room was suffocating. A portrait of Holden sat on the mantel, surrounded by candles. Claire couldn't take her eyes off it. Her chest ached. He deserved better than this, she murmured. He deserved peace. When Audra entered, whispers spread instantly. She looked fragile, dressed in black, her eyes red and swollen. She approached Claire hesitantly. I had to come, she said softly. He would have wanted me here. Claire turned slowly, her expression venomous. You think showing up makes you brave? You're standing over the ashes of the man you murdered. The room fell silent. Audra's lip trembled. You don't know everything, she said. You don't know what he did, no. Claire snapped. I know exactly what he did. He saved you. He gave up his life protecting you. And you repaid him with a bullet. Audra's tears spilled freely now. He was going to tell you what happened in Los Angeles, she cried. He was going to turn himself in. I couldn't let him drag you into it. Claire took a step closer. You didn't kill him to protect me, she said coldly. You killed him to protect yourself. Because if the truth came out, everyone would see what you really are. Audra's knees gave out. She fell to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably. I didn't mean to, it just happened. I panicked, she wailed. Claire looked down at her, eyes full of fire and grief. You can cry all you want, she said quietly, but that doesn't make you innocent. Victor's game. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, Victor Newman made a deal that would change everything. He met privately with Audra at his office. You're lucky I'm not letting this go to trial, Victor said, his tone ice cold. But you'll do exactly as I say from now on. Newman Media will issue no statements about Holden's death. You'll resign quietly and disappear for a while. Audra's voice shook. And if I refuse? Victor leaned forward, his eyes narrowing. Then I release the footage from Los Angeles. You'll go down for 2 murders instead of 1. Audra felt the blood drain from her face. You have it? She whispered. Victor smirked faintly. Let's just say I have friends in high places. Holden wanted to tell the truth. I'll honor that, in my own way.